The ongoing P. Diddy situation and story, just to bring you up to date, P. Diddy, his homes were raided, sex trafficking allegations, that's what he's under investigation for. His homes were raided in Miami and also in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Hollywood. Here's the situation though. Who tipped off Diddy? As you can see from the flight tracker, he left Van Nuys Airport earlier on today and landed in the Caribbean. The particular part of the Caribbean he's in does have an extradition treaty with America, but at the moment they're not sure if the plane is there. Diddy is on the run. This is just crazy. There is now a global search going on for P. Diddy. So we're just going to ask the question, where in the world is Sean Puffy Combs? What is a little bit shocking, by the way, I always thought that the King of New York had some family values. You put your children first. Turns out, as far as we can see, he went on the run and left his daughter and his sons to face the music. Wrong pun, but
concert, and the audience, the people outside trying to get in, bum rushed the venue, and
wow.
somebody died.
Wow.
And from that moment,
who was in the lineup for that concert?
I don't even remember. I lived up the street. I don't remember. But so he promoted concerts, but he sold mixtapes, and he was always promoting music, promoting artists, always. But there were a lot of guys like that. The whole
was he an around the way guy? Was he involved in other things, or was he just a clean music person? Was he a club person? Give us a bit of the background and who he was. Was he popular? Was he a street boy? Who was Sean? And is it Sean Diddy Puff? What was his original name back in the day? Because I'm confused.
I don't remember when he became P. Diddy Puff Daddy. We knew him as Puff. He I don't know. Now it's PD. I can't think of the beginning, but he like a lot of people like that, like KRS-One and all those guys around that era. Everybody was hustling music.
Sorry, could we just KRS-One? Wow.
They were all. I remember
the magazines. I used to in the UK. I used to buy a magazine called The Source just to read about KRS-One. Wow.
I lived in London for a year. I know that magazine. But I mean, like, so in the 80s, like, there were a lot of guys like him. He was one, like I said, he was around the way. But what I meant by that was there were a lot of guys like him promoting mixtapes. Mixtapes were really big. You got all these hip hop artists on a mixtape. As a DJ, you'd sell the tape and whatever. But he would promote musicians. And that's how ultimately he ended up with his record company, because he had this whole stable of people that he'd been working with for years.
He was popular in terms of, like, so literally if you wanted a recording deal, you wanted to do something in the music industry, back in the day that you're talking about, Diddy was the person to go to, yes?
No, he didn't have that much juice back in the day. He worked his way towards being the muckety muck he is now. But I mean, he was just hustling like everybody else to get a name like he was. And eventually, after so many years, he finally acquired it, acquired by stealing people's money and their song royalties and stuff.
So when did the whole bad boy thing come to? Just if you know that, because it said, so he's gone from promoting and getting people deals, doing mixtapes, to suddenly arriving. I mean, MTV at one stage, it was Diddy, Diddy, Diddy.
I forget when Bad Boy, he was part of a record company before that. And then he took some of the artists from that and started his own record company, Bad Boy. I forget the year. I think it was in the 90s though.
Okay. Now the thing is, all music, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's pop or hip hop, there's always situations which, for those who don't work in the music industry, may leave a bad taste. But you just get the feeling with Diddy, it went several stages further. He wasn't
paying people. He was taking people's royalties. He was making people work really hard, and he was he wasn't paying people. And
they just had bad contracts, or he would literally, I don't know, for argument's sake, get $1,000 for something and say, here's $50, keep quiet.
Kinda, but people were so desperate to get on, and he was promising them stuff. And at that point, I mean, it went in stages, but at the point where he made the whatever that thing was on TV, where he made his band, the kids that he was developing, he made them walk for 10 miles or something in the cold.
Wasn't it the MTV show?
Yeah,
he did it. Was it Danny Kane or Danny? Yeah, something like that.
He wasn't always like that. He didn't have the juice to be such an idiot, but power corrupts, as we all know. Absolutely. But back to your original question, where did he come from? He came from hustling music on the street like everybody else was doing back in the 80s.
Well,
Everybody wanted to get on.
Jay was doing that as well. But this is my take on it. I find it highly unlikely, extremely unlikely, is within Diddy's world, it's a small industry. It's a small world where he is now. Okay, so if we knew a little bit about what he was up to in New York then, let's move forward to what he's been up to over the last few years. I find it almost impossible that he was operating, and if these allegations are true, and nobody knew anything. I just don't believe it.
I just watched I watched a documentary on Weinstein yesterday. 30 years the man went around, people said they didn't know. Now all of a sudden they knew. Oops. So
that's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. And now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the fuck did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
I've been to those parties in LA. I never went to a freak off or anything. I will attest to that. But I have been to parties in LA with a lot of male rappers, male athletes, whatever, and there are rooms.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but come get the first shot of this.
Man.
Check that out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah. When you get 16, you come down there. You gotta, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right.
No.
16.
You're not ready.
16.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Jess.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
This is a comment about some of the comments, which I rarely comment, but since some folks have chosen to be obviously demonic, therefore it's not their fault. So I'm here just to share a beautiful message of hope, unconditional love, and peace. To all of the haters out there, God bless you. Pray for your enemies. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And remember, when I see you on the street, if you slap me in the face, I will turn the other cheek. But if I feel that second cheek stinging, you better run.
Now all of a sudden they knew, oops. So, I've been to those parties in LA. I never went to a freak off or anything. I will attest to that. But I have been to parties in LA with a lot of male rappers, male athletes, whatever. And there are rooms downstairs where girls are not allowed after a certain point in the evening.
Start again. Say that again.
You heard me. There are parties in LA that I have been to, and they won't let me go downstairs. I just wanted to go see what was going on. But there were parties where there were rooms downstairs where at a certain point in the evening, girls were not allowed.
See, the reason I find that that's the bit which is like, because it's almost everything against where we are in terms of how hip hop is, and I love rap and hip hop, but it's always, it's quite masculine, or the testosterone that almost flies in the face of it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and people do live private lives. What I find fascinating, going back to Diddy, these rumors have actually been floating around for quite a while. How come, and this is the question which you might have an opinion on, not expecting you to shed some light. In your opinion, why is it now all come to the surface? Now, Cat Williams hinted at quite a lot, and even if you go back through some of the old interviews, there's an interview with Usher where Usher is mortically embarrassed at what Diddy's about to say next. Mm-hmm. Why is this all now, in your opinion, coming to fruition in 2024? And also, just because she's made this comment, Candy's Own, who's quite close to Kanye, has said that a lot of people know what's going on, and that Diddy is going to be the fall guy. Just your thoughts, your opinion.
On whether he's a fall guy for other people as well, or whether he's responsible for his own downfall?
Both.
So many people want to be famous so badly that they're willing to, what was that, the Crossroads with Robert Johnson? There are a lot of people that are willing to make the deal with the devil to get famous, if you will.
But Diddy was famous. He had all of that.
No, what I'm talking about in terms of how he gets away with all this other heinous stuff he's doing with other people or to other people. Why would people be so complicit? Because they're making a lot of money. Money tends to shut people up. Like I said, I watched Weinstein's documentary. Why didn't anybody say anything really about him? I mean, people said anything, but they didn't do anything. And the man ran, Hollywood for 30 years.
I'll leave you with, lastly, thank you very much for calling us from Martha's Vineyard. I will leave you with one story that I was told a while back by somebody whose friend had come into contact with Diddy. And Diddy was trying to woo them, for want of a better discussion. And they actually said, what can I get you? Do you want a servant? Do you want a lion? Do you want a house? That was that. I promise you, that was a conversation. I remember, do you want a servant? Do you want a lion? Do you want a house? And I'm thinking, but you just think, because these people are operating in the world. I mean, you've obviously been to that world, the world I know nothing about. I mean, I've worked in the music industry, but that's beyond anything I know. You think, well, that's just them being extravagant. That's just how they are. Although I do think a lion is a bit over the top and a servant is a bit like, anyway, look. Thank you so much. We will wish you a good day, Susan, and see how this story turns out. But thank you so much for shedding a bit of light into the